Hello and good morning. How are you doing today? It's a pleasure to be here. For me, I hope it's a pleasure for you as well. And welcome to class 1082. Let's see. Yeah, 1082. Fijaos, no digo 1082. Digo 1082. 1082. Es que en inglés and va entre 10 y dígitos. 1882. 1882. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and we're going to talk about grammar for a few minutes, the grammar book. Not only do I teach English, but I also compose music. Not only do I come here, but I also go to other places. Not only do I have lunch in that restaurant, but I also have lunch in other restaurants as well. No solo como en ese restaurante, sino en otros también. No solo como. Not only do I eat. Esta forma no se enseña nunca en los libros, aquí sí. Not only do I eat lunch in that restaurant. Do I eat? Parece que es pregunta. ¿Cómo yo siempre en ese restaurante? Do I eat? Do I always eat in that restaurant? Yes. Do I give class every day? Yes, I do. Do I use the pencils from time to time? Yes, I do. Do I play with the microphone occasionally? Yes, I do. Do I use my hands when I teach? Yes, I do. Do I include Marta sometimes? Yes, I do. Do I? Esas son preguntas. These are direct questions about myself in this case. Now, in the affirmative, cuando empezamos con not only, decimos do I, or does he, does she, do you. No solo enseño inglés, sino hago otras cosas también. Not only do I teach English, but I also compose music. Not only do I play the piano, but I also play the guitar. Not only do I come here every day, but I also come here on the weekends. Not only do I enjoy teaching, but I also enjoy training other teachers. Not only does she work as a camera woman, but she also works in pre-production and post-production as a producer. Not only does she live in Madrid, but she also works with a lot of people in Madrid for her photography. Not only. Yes. Not only do the Spanish people speak Spanish, but many of them also speak Catalan, Gallego, or Basque. Yes. Not only do I. Interesting way, interesting approach. Okay, expressions. Page 149 at the top. Like chalk and cheese. Wow. Never heard it in my life. Como tiza y queso. Tiza de pizarra, ¿no? Like chalk and cheese. Tiza is chalk. Chalk. Ele muda aquí, chalk. Like chalk and cheese. Suena bien, like chalk and cheese. I've never heard it in my life. Jimena, ¿dónde sacas estas cosas? Like chalk and cheese. Como el día y la noche. Mi marido y yo somos como el día y la noche. Pero creo que es la combinación perfecta. O sea, muy diferentes. Like chalk and cheese. Okay. If you say so. Jimena, if you say so. Si tú lo dices, Jimena, vale, te creo. She's from Great Britain. She's British. I'm American. There are some expressions. For example, in Spain, you don't say inspector de azoteas. No se dice aquí. Para un hombre muy, muy alto. Tan alto que puede inspeccionar azoteas sin la escalera. Inspector azoteas. Y inspector ombligo para los bajitos. All right. They don't need to bend down. They can inspect your belly button. And that's an expression in some Latin American countries. All right. But not here. And like chalk and cheese, I've never heard it in my life. Like father, like son. Yeah. De tal palo tal astilla. Como padre, como hijo. Like father, like son. Like father, like son, he's a chip off the old block. Which is even more common, the expression, a chip. A chip is un corte, una viruta. A chip off the old block, del viejo taco de madera. También es madera, de tal palo, tal astilla. All right, también es madera. A chip off the old block is a block of wood. A chip off the old block. Like father, like son. They're very similar. Like father, like son. Two peas in a pod. Como dos gotas de agua. Peas. A pea es un guisante. Escrito pea. Se suele decir en plural, guisantes. Peas. 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 Los guisantes vienen en una... No sé cómo se dice. Ya sabe lo que quiero decir. Like two peas in a pod. Como dos guisantes en un... I don't remember. She's mouthing it, but I can't recognize it. I can't remember. You'll tell me after the program. Okay. But like two peas in a pod means como dos gotas de agua. Ginny and Evie are like two peas in a pod. Don't you think? Ginny y Evie son como dos gotas de agua, ¿no crees? All right, similar, identical. And finally, like watching paint dry. Like watching paint dry. Yes. Es un tostón, un aburrimiento. Oh, aburridísimo. It's like watching paint dry. Observando cómo se seca la pintura. Watching. I'm watching. Watching paint dry. So, what to watch is to fix your attention in movement. To see. I can see the camera. But it's impossible for me to watch the camera. When you go to a museum, an art museum, for example, the Prado, where you go to see the paintings. Voy a ir al Prado a ver las pinturas. Okay, mañana voy a ir. Tomorrow I'm going to go to the Prado to see the paintings. And I enter the Prado, and I see a lot of paintings. Whoa, wow, Rubens, Goya, Velázquez, Hieronymus Bosch. And so I stop in front of one, and I look at it. Lo miro, I look at it. It's impossible to watch a painting. It's impossible. Because the painting is immobile. It's not moving. Yeah. Look at my hand. Look at my hand. Can you see it? Look at it. In este caso, it's impossible to watch my hand. You can look at my hand. Look at it. No, don't look at me. Look at my hand. All right. Now, watch. So watch is to fix your attention on the movement. That's why we say to watch television. Ver la tele. You're not looking at the television. You're fixing your attention on the activity or the action on television. So you're watching TV. Yes, you're watching TV. To watch. So it's impossible to watch a painting, una pintura. But it's possible to watch a film or to watch a TV series or whatever. To watch, it's like watching paint dry. ¿Sí? Observando el secado de la pintura. It takes 3 hours, 4 hours. It's interesting in the English-speaking world. If you go to a park, un banco recién pintado, a bench has been painted. It says wet paint. There's a sign that says wet paint, pintura mojada, wet paint. Normally in Spain it says ojo mancha. Okay. Ojo mancha, all right. Siempre. No hay otra forma, ¿no? No, ojo mancha. And we say wet paint. All right, that's it for this page, for page 149. All right. We'll come back another day. We'll come back another day. In the meantime, gain fluency. Mientras tanto, in the meantime, let's try to gain some fluency. Page 80, paragraph 727. The judge asked the two men why they hadn't shown up for the trial. One said that his wife was having a baby at the time. The other said that his wife was conceiving a baby at the time. That's interesting. This is a true story. This took place in West Texas. But it wasn't showing up for the trial. The two men didn't show up for the questioning to be a jury member. Everybody in the United States has the obligation to be a jury member, un miembro del jurado. And you have to stop working. It's mandatory. If you receive a notification. It's like here in Spain for the elections. Sometimes you receive a notification. Anda, tengo que trabajar en la mesa electoral. Have you ever worked at the tables? No. But you receive it, you have to go. It's mandatory. It's the same with jury, los jurados. And they called, and two people didn't show up. And the judge called them in. In the first one, he said, Mr. Johnson, why didn't you come? And he said, well, my wife was having a baby at that moment. And I wanted to be with my wife. And the judge said, okay. And Mr. Smith, why didn't he? He said, my wife was conceiving a baby at that moment. And I wanted to be there. Okay. And so he was fined. Fue multado, he was fined. This is a true story. The judge asked the two men why they hadn't shown up for the trial. To show up is presentarse. No se presentaron para el juicio en este caso. They didn't show up. So the judge, el juez, the judge asked the two men why they hadn't shown up. Pluscuamperfecto. Porque no se habían presentado. He asked the two men why they hadn't shown up for the trial. Trial es un proceso judicial, un juicio. Yeah. Un pleito. The trial. Bueno, pleito es a lawsuit. Trial es el proceso mismo, las sesiones, el juzgado. So he asked the two men why they hadn't shown up for the trial. One said his wife was having a baby at the time. All right. The other said that his wife was conceiving a baby at the time. All right. Very good. The next one, 728. This is true. Normally these stories are true. Greg was a handsome black teacher who worked for me in the 1990s. After 10 years, he went back to the States. He said the girls here liked to date him, but they didn't want to marry him. All right. This is true. Greg was a handsome black teacher. Muy guapo, de color. Greg was a handsome black teacher who worked for me in the 1990s. After 10 years, he went back to the States. He said the girls here liked to date him, but they didn't want to marry him. To date is salir. Les gustaba a las chicas salir con él, pero no querían casarse con él, y él ya quería. He wanted to settle down. Greg, I remember, from Los Angeles, a black man, very, very handsome, very good looking. Yeah. And he always had good luck with the girls. They adored him. But none of them wanted to get married. And he wanted to get married. He was a traditional, conservative person. He wanted to settle down. To settle down is asentar la cabeza y ya. All right? And to start a family. He wanted to have children. And when I think it was about 33, 34, after 10 years working here, he went back to Los Angeles. He got married. He has 2 children now. But he said they didn't want to marry him here. Okay, the next one, 729. There are times in which we have to make decisions that could change our lives. Some people are afraid to make these kinds of decisions and end up never realizing their potential. Yeah, there are times when we have to make decisions, making decisions, important decisions. There are times in which we have to make decisions that could change our lives. Yes, I made a decision to get married. Marta made a decision to get married. You make a decision that can change your lives. Of course, it changes your life. Some people are afraid to make decisions, important decisions, in which case they never realize their potential. Yeah, there are times, hay momentos, hay veces, hay ocasiones. There are times en los cuales, hay momentos en los cuales, there are times, moments también nos va, there are moments in which, there are times in which we have to make decisions that could change our lives. They could change, judge. They could change our lives. Some people are afraid to make these kinds of decisions. Este tipo de decisiones. En inglés se dice estos tipos de decisiones. Estas clases de decisiones. Pluralizamos todo. These kinds of decisions. Some people are afraid to make these kinds of decisions and end up never realizing their potential. Aquí realize significa realizar, no darse cuenta. And end up realizing their decisions, realizing their potential. They end up. I've spoken about this phrasal verb many, many times, to end up. To end up is acaban por no realizar su potencial. Terminan sin realizar su potencial. They end up not realizing their potential. Yes. Or never realizing their potential. To end up. To end is terminar. Cuando es una cosa. La película terminó. The movie ended. The class ended. I finished. Finish is personal. She finished yesterday. The Second World War ended in 1945. The First World War ended in 1918. The Spanish Civil War ended in 1939. The American Civil War ended in 1965. The 30 Years' War ended in 1648. Yes, ended. The Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, ended officially in 476 AD, to end. O sea, las cosas end, las personas finish. Ahora bien, end up, si añades up, no. Las personas. End up, porque cuando dices, terminarás odiando tu trabajo, ya verás. You will end up, más gerundio, hating. Terminarás por odiar. Terminarás odiando. There are two ways in Spanish, in English one. You'll end up hating your job. Yeah. You'll end up being sorry. Terminarás lamentando la decisión. You'll end up being sorry for the decision you made. You will end up. Okay, aquí dice y terminan sin nunca realizar su potencial. Some people, there are times in which we have to make decisions that could change our lives. Some people are afraid to make these kinds of decisions and end up never realizing their potential. Yes. You know, I have two uncles. I had two uncles. They both died. One got married and had one daughter, my cousin. And the other got married and they didn't have any children. They didn't want children. I think she didn't want children. She didn't want my aunt. She didn't want the responsibility. And it's funny because I'm sure that my uncle would have been a very good father, and sons and daughters would have been very good. The potential. They didn't realize their potential. It's interesting, George Patton, el General Patton, ¿te suena, no? No? General Patton. He died in 1945 at the end of the Second World War. And he went to heaven. Now, Patton loved history. And when he went to the gates of heaven, there was St. Peter, with his white hair, long white beard, St. Peter. And he asked St. Peter, he said, "Excuse me, Reverend Father, who was the greatest general in history? El general más grande de la historia, ¿quién ha sido?" And St. Peter said, "A shoemaker, un zapatero, a shoemaker in the south of Italy who avoided recruitment and never served." Se escondió para que no le reclutaran. De haberse recibido reclutado, habría llegado a ser el general más grande de la historia, pero he didn't realize his potential. And so that's what St. Peter said to Patton. A shoemaker in the south of Italy who never served in the military because he was hiding when they tried to recruit the people in that area. But if he had been recruited, he would have become the greatest general in history. All right. People who don't realize their potential. Yes. And finally, once a thief, always a thief. Page 80 at the bottom. Una vez ladrón, siempre ladrón. There's a saying in Spanish. I can't remember. El que nace lechón muere gorrino. ¿Te suena? No. Si hay un dicho, el que nace lechón muere gorrino. It's a strange, it's a very old expression. It means el que nace ladrón siempre es ladrón. Una vez ladrón, siempre es ladrón. You understand that, eh? Yeah, once a thief, always a thief. Okay. It's a very pessimistic approach. There's a saying that implies, this is a saying, once a thief, always a thief. This is a saying, es un dicho, esto es un dicho. This is a saying that implies that people never really change during their lives. For example, if they lie when they're young, they'll lie all their life. Do you agree? No, I don't agree. People can change. People can change. The prodigal son, come back. Once a thief, always a thief, I don't agree. But there has to be something important in their life, an epiphany that transforms them. So, any things. But in any case, once a thief, always a thief. This is a saying that implies, un dicho que implica, que significa. To imply in this case is to mean. This is a saying that implies that people never really change during their lives. I don't know. I've seen people change. With the right stimulation, with the right leadership, they will change, etc. So I don't agree with this 100%. Once a thief, always a thief. This is a saying that implies that people never really change during their lives. For example, if they lie, si mienten cuando son jóvenes, mentirán toda la vida. Maybe. I don't think so. For example, if they lie when they're young, they'll lie all their life. Do you agree? No. No, I don't agree 100%, no. And finally, at the top, how much time do we have left, Marta? No, Well, we'll come back. I'll read the paragraph, but I'll come back tomorrow with it. At the top of page 81. He doesn't work here anymore. He left the company 2 months ago to accept a position in Keystone Industries. I think it was a mistake, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. I'll come back the next time and continue with this paragraph. Today I'm a bit sleepy. Yeah, I'm a bit sleepy. I'm going to have a coffee after I finish this half hour with you. Also, today it's a bit cold in this studio. Yeah, I can see Marta. Well, women are more cold-natured than men. Cold-natured means frioleras. Women are more cold-natured than men. And I see Marta's a little bit cold, and me too in this one. I'll see you tomorrow.